This is a Windows Phone 7 game review of Pac-Man Kart Rally, which is available in the marketplace for $2.99 and is an Xbox Live game title. So overall, I do not recommend this game because the visuals are really terrible. The frame rate makes it kind of unplayable and really does ruin the experience. But nevertheless, there's 4 different sets of levels here, and they each have a different visual theme, which is kind of cool, and each of them have 3 different tracks inside them too. And so this is the tournament mode, which is the typical racing style, and once we get into here, you can tap right on the green in order to get an extra boost while you're going, and if you collect those little Pac-Man balls, then they actually make you go faster. And then it also has the random power-ups, just like Mario Kart does. And so you can collect those just like Mario Kart. But the frame rate is really jumpy, and things will pop in the distance, and it's just a really bad visual experience. And the iPhone version of this game is apparently nothing like this. It's actually good. So that's really disappointing for us Windows Phone users because we get the short end of the stick again. But there's a nice set of power-ups, and there's some that give you basically unlimited boost. Those are kind of almost unfair because you're boosting for nearly an entire lap. But the power-ups are usually pretty cool, and a decent variety of power-ups. Not as good as Mario Kart at all, but it's sort of fun to play. The only problem is, of course, the visuals, and the controls can be a little weird too, but they work pretty well. You can also use touch controls if you want, and you just steer by tapping left and right. And you do have a brake there, but you'll hardly ever use that brake. So, skill-wise, it's not too complicated really. As you get later on in the game, it does get a little tougher, and you actually have to have some skill in order to get first place. So it does become a little more exciting, but overall it's not that exciting. Nevertheless, there are some other gameplay modes in the game which are pretty fun. And if we go back here, there's a challenges mode where you have to actually complete certain random challenges. Like, sometimes you have to collect a certain number of things, you have to go through a number of gates in a certain time, and in this one we have to go over 5 jumps and collect the Pac-Man balls. So those challenges do definitely change up the gameplay and keep it interesting. And they also really increase the lasting value, so if you actually do find yourself liking this game, the lasting value is pretty good. And on top of these modes here, there's also an online multiplayer mode, but I've never had anyone actually be online, so I couldn't actually try that at all. All I've done is just sat in the lobby waiting for someone to be hosting a game, and there was never anyone. So that mode is kind of useless unless you maybe have some friends and you all get on at the same time. Then you might actually be able to play. But anyways, there's a ton of different single player modes there. Time trial, chase, survival, and then mirror mode, which just mirrors the tracks. So there's surprisingly a lot of lasting value in this game. The only problem is the visuals are pretty bad, and those just really disappoint me. And the low frame rate makes it tough to play the game. And overall, it's just a little disappointing compared to the iPhone version, and it's just not as good of a game as it could be. For $2.99, I would not spend your money on this badly written game, and I would save your money for an actual good game that comes out, if any do. But nevertheless, you can find Pac-Man Kart Rally in the marketplace for $2.99.